Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Record this on Wednesday, September 25th, about 5:30 in the afternoon, Pacific time. On Thursday, September 26th, Donald Trump is going to the New York Appeals Court to appeal the New York civil trial judgment, the one that was for about $360 million. That's growing rapidly to $500 million. His legal team is going to argue that what Judge Engoron ruled on, it was egregious and should be reversed. As a reminder, this is the Letitia James case where Judge Engoron basically, after reviewing the evidence, said, "You're guilty." And when we go to court, this is basically to decide how much you're going to pay. Between the overvaluing properties for the ability to get loans and undervaluing them when it came to paying property taxes and federal taxes and things along those lines. So Trump is saying that Judge Engoron is his decision was egregious. Letitia James is saying he was based on overwhelming evidence. So let's see how this turns out. So right now, this is going to the appeals court. They will hear the case tomorrow, today as you watch this. And then, according to this article that I have at AP News, it takes them about a month to rule. So the results of the New York civil trial appeal could happen prior to the election. If the appeals court rules in Judge Engoron's favor, Donald Trump can take it up to the New York Court of Appeals, I believe, is the next level up. Let me take a look real quick here. The highest court, which is the Court of Appeals. And if he doesn't win at the Court of Appeals, he says he's going to take it to the Supreme Court. I don't think the Supreme Court has jurisdiction over a New York state civil case for failing to pay your taxes and committing fraud. Just saying. So I don't really think they'll listen to it. I don't know what the constitutionality challenge would be. So now we get back to if he loses this appeal, he's going to appeal to the next court level. All the while, that money's accruing interest to the tune of a little over $100,000 a day. It's going to get expensive to keep appealing this stuff. All right, so come on down. Let's take a look at the energy of this New York civil trial appeal that's going for the appeals court tomorrow, or the next appeals court. All right, entertainment purposes only. What are we looking at here? Well, what would a Donald Trump reading be without the devil card on it? Just about the fraud and shady business tactics that he uses. Again, saying his property's worth nothing when it came to time to actually paying taxes on it, but saying it was incredibly valuable when it came time to getting collateral loans on it. It's just another day in the life of corruption of Donald John Trump. Crossed with the Two of Wands, he's already planning. To me, he's already planning for the loss here. Underneath it all is the Ace of Cups, the emotions. All right, the man's under a lot of stress, even though all his criminal cases have been delayed, and the Supreme Court's done him this incredible series of favors. What you have now is a civil case that the penalties are up to about $500 million, like $500 million or so. And he's still having to fight all this, all the while the money's growing. It's causing him stress and a lot of anger. It's not helping that his Truth Social stock, although it's been up the last 2 days, is at about $14 a share, and he has like 150 million shares. Not quite that, but like 120, 130 million shares. So it's probably worth about $1.6 billion, but it's not it's not the 5 to 6 billion it was earlier in the year, and it really looks like it's going to be decreasing in value over time. Entertainment purposes only. I'm not offering financial advice or guidance. It's just that stock on paper is worth about $2 a share, and it's valued at 14, and the fundamentals do not support that valuation. In the past, we got the Wheel of Fortune here. This is just ongoing court cases with Trump. Not only that, in this court case, it was shown how many years the Trump org was just corruptly making numbers up, committing business fraud that benefited Donald Trump, either to get him in the Forbes 500 or the Forbes top 400 wealthiest Americans just by making up wealth, doing that made up wealth to banks to secure loans, and then downplaying it when it came to time to pay taxes. Current situation is the Sun card. He got exposed in court to the point where the judge said, "Yeah, you're guilty." I mean, there's really no two ways about it. And I think that's, despite his arguments, I still believe that's going to be the underlying facts that we see here, is that it is what it is. When they go to the appeals court has a number of things that they can do. They could toss out the verdict. They could reduce the amount, or they can rule in the judge's favor. Amongst three of those choices, and I think the general default is they'll probably stick with the judge's decision because it wasn't a rash decision. But that's what's going to be revealed during the appeals court. Mind you, it's testimony tomorrow that they'll be doing. Overarching energy is the Lover's card. God, look at all these major arcana here. The opposite of the Devil card is the Lover's card. It's pretty obvious what he was doing and the reasons why he was doing it. You've got the corrupt things that he was doing, and the law is fairly specific as to what you need to do. Trump was, his behavior in court was boorish. His behavior outside of court was even more boorish. And I'm thinking that the appeals court, they're hearing this case because they have to hear it. But I'm really getting the vibe that there's not a whole lot of there. The lesson to be learned is the Chariot card. Yeah, they're going to rule on it. It's going to move. It's taken a while to get to this spot. They're going to rule on it. I'm not expecting a big change. Look at all these major arcana here. Outcome is the Ace of Pentacles. Somebody's still paying. Now, whether or not they say, "Oh, we're getting rid of it," or they're reducing the pay, I don't think they are. I think they're holding on to it. And that's going to cause Trump a lot of anxiety. I want you to note 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana and 2 aces. This is a very... and the non-major arcana is a 2 of wands, which is fire energy. Get ready for more fire energy. Hopefully Donald Trump maintains his composure during this. I wouldn't bet money on it. If I were a betting man, I wouldn't bet money on Donald Trump maintaining composure. He's going to be out there with his accordion of hypnotic falsehoods saying it's really unjust, it's unfair, it's a witch hunt. There's a crackpot judge with his corrupt clerk and this, that, and the other thing. Because what else is it going to be? He's a broken record. Now, he could try to butter up the appeals court, and that's his other tactic, either criticize them or butter them up. Very powerful, fair appeals court. I'm sure they will do the right thing type of thing. But that's not really his style. He only says that after they've given him something. Okay. So, let's do a series of four carders here. How is Letitia James and her representatives going to feel after the appeals case tomorrow? Fool card, new beginning, Knight of Cups, 8 of Cups, the Sun card. Okay, Now, if it was really not great news for us, it would be, okay, we got to start all over again. The appeals court kicked it back, and we've got to try and negotiate with Trump again or go through another court case, something like that. That's a possibility. With this 9 of coins underneath it, though, to me, it's like new journey for the woman who's won a lot of money. There's a walking away card, an offer in the sun. Is again to me, this is the strong case that they've built. This is going forward to the appeals court, offering them the evidence, having a bunch of evidence underneath it as they go through this process. It's almost like, if the appeals court could rule in such a way that Donald Trump just didn't bother, it's like, don't even bother trying to appeal again. You're just going to lose again, type of thing. I'm open-minded to the prospect that the appeals court could kick this one back down to Judge Engoron and say, you need to start it all over again. That could be one reason for the Fool card. But it's also kind of, remember, the Fool is a new journey, moving on to something else. So either the appeals court could slam the door on this, and you don't think for a second that if they did, they kicked it out, that Letitia James wouldn't just start all over again and win all over again. But I don't think there was anything egregious in the ruling that would disqualify this case. That there's nothing I saw or nothing I read that would indicate something egregious happened. Let's see, how is Donald Trump and his legal team feeling after their presentation to the appellate court? There's that 9 of coins again. Just kind of what was underneath Letitia James is this one, the Hermit card, the Death card, the King of Pentacles. A lot of money that has to be paid, bringing things to this chapter to a close, having to progress to the next, find a path forward involving the fines and more plans. Again, if on the low energy, this could be him, the judge saying, yeah, this was too much money, send this case back, we're going to have a do-over for you. But to me, it's more likely that they're going to say the fine was appropriate. They're going to basically kill the appeal at this point. Donald Trump can go forward with this one to appeal his fines. And there's that 2 of Wands energy again of getting ready for the next step, which I believe is the next court up. Now, for those at home complaining that, hey, wait a minute, you're talking out both sides of your mouth. On one end, you're saying that it's going to get kicked, that the case is going to get tossed out. And on the other end, it's going to be supported. And giving you examples of what the cards, how they could be interpreted. And for those that say, oh, you're biased. Well, yeah, because I'm going off my gut feeling as to what I think the cards mean when I craft the story. But they could go either way. It just depends. What does my instinct tell me? What do my guts tell me? Heck, and sometimes what does my logical mind tell me? With all that, what did I see? What was the truth that I saw when I watched that case? And the one thing that Trump and his team are going to argue are 2 things. One, it should never have been decided as he was automatically guilty and the amount was too much. But I think given the amount of evidence, it's reasonable to assume he was guilty because there's evidence all over the place. I don't know how he was going to talk his way out of it. And Judge Engoron, he took like a month to come up with those valuations with that final fine. So, it was a lot of money. Of course, Donald Trump's been cheating for a really long time here. So there is that, as the 8 of Wands goes slipping over. All right, so let's throw on the ruling that will happen roughly a month from now. Will the appeals court uphold the conviction? 9 of Wands, High Priestess, Page of Pentacles, the Devil card, Six of Swords. Nine of Wands. Second to last battle. It's the, talking about messaging about money, using their wisdom, kind of like their common sense here in Donald Trump, and Six of Swords sending the case on, moving the case on from them. Again, on the low energy, it could be like they kick it back to Judge Engoron. Maybe you've charged too much. It needs to be less money. But whatever decision they make, they're using common sense and wisdom on it, and they know who they're dealing with. And I don't mean like they're scared of Donald Trump. They know the corruption of Donald Trump and how he's all about money. And I think, to me, if you're using wisdom, knowing the defendant and knowing what he was doing with the money, you can look at this case, and they knew this case was coming, is that he's been doing this for a long time. So to me, this is more we're going to rule against you, but we know that after we rule against you, it's going to the next court case up. They're just moving it out of their jurisdiction, and the appeals court above them will hear it. This is kind of like we had to do this battle and suffer through it, knowing that there's going to be another battle later. Again, lower energy could very well be that that it's like, if we kick it back to, some of it's like, if we kick it back to Engoron, he's just going to appeal it again. It's going to be right back in our laps and nothing flat, in an endless loop of appeals. Now, that being said, I believe it was the appeals court that lowered or allowed the bond to be lowered from the actual amount he was supposed to pay to something about half of what it was. He was supposed to put like a $350 million bond, and they said he could put a $175 million bond instead. So there's a weariness with this court. It's kind of like, we have to go through, we have to do this, we have to rule on this. But there's also this feeling of it's kind of pointless, because no matter what we rule, and by what we rule I mean if they support it, it's just going to go to the next court case up, and now they have to wait like everybody else to see how the New York Appeals Court rules. All right. So that was, will they uphold the case? Will they reduce? Will they send it back to Engoron to reduce the fine? Seven of Swords. I don't know. There's a lot of theft there. Three of Swords. Six of Coins. The Hierophant. The Victory card. I think they understand that he stole money and that he had been getting away with it, winning at the stealing game for a long time. The funny, this is one of the cards that came up when I got my original ruling, which was, I was saying, like $600 to $700 million. The Six of Coins is taking big money, and they're asking for reparations back. Absolutely lying, cheating, stealing from the government. I don't think they're going to ask. It's possible it could be asked to reduced, but they've already done that with the bond. And they know he's stealing with things. Can they kick it back? Yeah, maybe. Maybe to reduce it. Again, Judge Engoron spent a long time going over the evaluations. It is possible they reduced it, because I seem to recall that was some of the reasons why they lowered the bond, is that there were questions about, I really have to go to the memory banks here. There was questions about the statute of limitations and what could be considered and what could be ignored. All right, lastly, will this appeals court here decide that the case needs to be retried? That was corrupt. There's that Three of Swords again. Betrayal, heartbreak. I think that's a no. Just like that last one was a no. Two of Wands. That's what Trump wants. That is absolutely what Trump wants. Trump says that's what needs to happen. center underneath that they charged me too much money. It wasn't fair. The judge's clerk told them what to do. No, they're definitely not. They are definitely not saying forget it. They're definitely not going to say that. Yeah, no, we're not going to do that case. This case is going to stay convicted. At best, right now, Trump can hope for is that they reduce it. There's a possibility that they reduce it a little bit. But here's the thing: even if they reduce it a little bit, Trump is going to go to the appellate court. So let's ask this: how is Trump feeling about given the current energy? How is Trump feeling about this court's decision as to what to do with his fines that are growing very rapidly on a daily basis here once they make their decision? Page of Pentacles, more fundraising, more grifting. The World card, bringing things to a close. Good with the bad. Fight, 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 fight. Judgment. He's still gonna argue the money. He's still gonna fundraise off of it. You can't compromise with this guy. Compromising with him does you no good. He's a Five of Swords kind of guy. He has to win everything. If you get anything, it's a loss. He's not in his right mind. He should just pay the fine and be done with it, as opposed to accruing all this interest on it. He should bring this to a close, but he's just going to fight it. He's going to fight everything, no matter what the judgment is. He's going to fight it. So again, if this court cut the fine in half, he'd still say that wasn't enough. I'm going to fight it. I'm taking this all the way to the end. So that's what I'm saying. It does no good to compromise with this guy, because he's just going to fight it. And let's face it, we saw the Three of Swords come through a couple of times, and the Seven of Swords. It's not fair. He's a thief, plain and simple. He steals from people. He steals from the government. He steals from people. It's obvious what he's done, and it literally just is a matter of tabulating up. Okay, let me ask one last question. Will this court lower the fine because they feel that there was an error in not that he doesn't deserve to pay, but that there was an error in the calculation? Or that it was, the way the calculation was done, it took into account things that shouldn't have been counted. It went back in dates too far. Something. Will there be a lowering of the money because of some math error, not because Donald Trump deserves it? Let's see if we can wrap it up with this one. Little four-carder. Let's do a full-carder on that one. Ace of Swords crossed with the Queen of Wands and the Six of Cups. There's going to be a legal ruling. To me, it's favoring Letitia James. It's crossing with Letitia James. And just the history. The history of everything that's been going on here involving Trump and his actions in the past. There's your Eight of Coins. The working, the stealing, the grifting. Just all about money all the time, even fundraising off of it, lying about his wealth to magazines. Lesson learned is you just got to keep fighting. And King of Cups. Honestly, I'm not getting anything here that says they're going to reduce it. I think I think they're going to feel, actually, to be honest, I think they're going to feel like the fine was justifiable. Trump was his own worst enemy because he's out there talking about stuff all the time. So there's not a big incentive for this appeals court to bend over backwards to help him out. So I'm going to predict that when they rule, they're going to uphold Judge Engoron's ruling. That's kind of like, 80. I'm going to guess like 80%, 20% likelihood that they may reduce the fine a little bit. Although that last reading seems to indicate that 20% might be overestimating it, and pretty much 0% chance that they're going to retry the case. Now, what would be humorous, before you get too angry about that, what would be humorous about them retrying the case is if they retry it, they're going to have to go through the whole rigmarole again. They're going to present all these documents showing how Donald Trump was ripping off the state and ripping off these banks, so on and so forth. It's going to end up in a guilty plea again, a guilty verdict, and the fine's going to be put back into place again. And, he's still going to have to pay all that money because even though the first verdict, let's say, gets wiped out, it's retroactive. So he probably would end up with the same amount. It's still going to be retroactive. So it's like he just delayed paying it, and it's going to cost that much more money because, again, it's adding onto the debt at least $100,000 a day. Let's see what this article is saying. I know I saw a value in here somewhere. Come on, you're not going to be able to find it. Yeah, order to pay $364 million in penalties, grown to an interest of more than $489 million. So, it's close to $500 million. I'm not getting the daily increase. I thought I saw it in there. And then he has to go through the appeals court again. And, they're not going to be real thrilled if he comes at him again because, and of course he will. But in the end of the day, I don't think the appeals court is going to rule in Trump's favor, which means it'll go to the next court up, and then I'll do a reading on it when we get to that point. Oh, God, this guy, he's just amazing. At $100,000 a day, 365 days out of the year, so that's about $36.5 million a year. Is that at least? But yeah, he's racking up about $40 million a year in interest by not paying. And that should be increasing because to me the interest shouldn't be on the original amount. It should be on the outstanding amount. So it should keep increasing. I don't know if that's how it works or not. But 9% a year is 9% a year. It's a lot of money. Thank you for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. I hope you found this reading insightful. It is meant for entertainment purposes only. And we'll see what happens soon enough. Have a good night, and I'll catch you on the next video.